Ciao ragazzi, hi guys, welcome back to another video here from Mr. Jimmy Neutron. Today, that's the vibe, that's the aesthetic. So in today's videos, I'm gonna go through my latest trip to Roma that I did last week. I went 4 days in the city, beautiful city of Roma, and I went thrifting for vintage designer items, and I was thrifting for the perfect steal to add to my archive. So today's video is gonna about what I found in Roma, what I haven't found, and overall what are like the main observation I made. Of course, some of the best location I've been at, some market recommendation, and a couple of good stories and lessons that I learned after this experience. Fasten your seatbelt, get ready with the Italian fashion guide. I'm sure you're gonna love it. Let's get started. So let's start our journey with what I was looking for. I was looking for two main categories of item. I was looking for menswear vintage, especially Stone Island and CP Company. Little archive here at home. I'm always building my collection. I'm always looking for the next chance. And I thought that Italy in general could be a great ground, especially because during the 80s and the 90s, CP Company and Stone Island, being Italian, were gonna be more present and were more present everywhere. And I was also looking for designer bags, both for myself, for my girlfriend, but it's a field that I would like to expand my expertise in. Fendi being from Roma, I thought it could be a great idea to do like a market research and see what I was gonna be able to find. I did some research online and I went for two main kind of categories of stores. One is the physical store, let's say a thrift store that can be of higher end, can be of lower end. And then you have street markets. So those are like the two main locations that we went and we scouted and we looked for item at. If we're talking about best vintage stores, I have two recommendations for you. One is called Mercantile. I'm talking about the location that next the metro stop of Barberini, next to Rinascente. It's a beautiful curated store. They have a huge assortment of luxury goods. Of course, the prices are a bit higher, but I found a beautiful Louis Vuitton sweater. You can find Fendi bags, you can find Bottegas, you can find Hermes. Mercantile in the center of Roma had a great selection of luxury handbags and also luxury products. Gucci jackets, it had leather bags. Overall, great if you're shopping for bags. And if you're also shopping for bags, I would recommend Borderline. Borderline is this very small curated store that's actually in Prati, a Roma neighborhood next to the Vatican City. And I would say that quality-wise, it was the most beautiful bags in the less square meters. The owner was super nice and they really had these beautiful pieces, mostly Louis Vuitton, but also Gucci, Bottega Veneta, a lot of Hermes full art. Found this beautiful Murakami bag from their previous collaboration, I think around 2015. The asking price was 1,100. And if you're in Roma, I would recommend visiting Borderline for sure and Mercantile in Barberini, yeah, absolutely. So if we're talking about store instead for vintage clothing, designer clothing, I would recommend two stores. One is called Avenue 31 in the center of Roma, and the other one is called Twice Vintage, and that's located in Trastevere, which is more like the nightlife neighborhood. I would recommend you Avenue 31. They really have very curated menswear vintage. They have beautiful car art made in the US. They have a bit of Stone Island, a bit of CP Company, loads of vintage Levi's, selvage denims. Beautiful store, a bit messy, love the owner. It was a great vibe. I would absolutely recommend going there. And also you have Twice Vintage. Twice Vintage is instead a bit more messy, but still great reality. I actually bought a Stone Island sweater from them during this trip. Good prices, they have some cool bombers, Avirex, they have Burberry coats, they have Aquascurum. So overall, another solid offer. I would recommend if you're in a rush, just check these two out. Those two are overall the best I found, yeah. In Roma, you have two main kinds of markets, for example, in Via Sannio or in Porta Portese. Those are a bit more like street markets, so there is everything, things on the floor, watches, any kind of thing you can think about. There's very cheap houseware, there is piles of €1, but there's also some designer spots. We went to see Viano, found a couple of nice things, but the weather was very bad. And so overall, I would like to go back there. I'd recommend, if you have time, to go for like one of those like big street markets. Beware of fakes though, and of your wallets. But if you want to go for a way more curated, but like once in a while market, there is this beautiful market that's called Borghetto Flaminio. That's in the northern part of the center of Roma, next to Piazza del Popolo, and it's incredibly curated. You have to pay to get in, around €1.60 per person, but that indicates that the space is more curated, and there you're gonna find vintage bags, coats. Most ladies, you know, are like in their 60s with beautiful taste, full of Fendi, Gucci, Prada, anything, furs, jackets, coats. Fantastic shop. It was just a shame it was raining very bad, but we found a very nice Valentino bomber that I really liked. There was like a lot of beautiful watches, Jaeger LeCoultre, Rolex watches. If you are around, only Sundays, just go visit it. Another cute market was at the Alcazar in Trastevere, Saturday and Sundays from 10 to 8 in the afternoon. It's a theater, it's like a concert venue, and they had beautiful Max Mara coats there. They also had beautiful barbers there, so of course it's a smaller reality, it's a bit more like artisanal, handcrafted. But I would also recommend you checking out this street. Go for a big street market, Porta Portese, Sannio. Either you go for a more curated market like Mercato Borghetto Flaminio or the Alcazar. Yeah, depending again on how much time you have and how much money you want to spend and how curated you want the merchandise to be. Yeah. I would recommend, if you're going thrifting, to go with a clear vision. We actually went for 4 days, we didn't have a clear target in mind, and so that of course was kind of distracting. Going again to Roma or any other city, I would always recommend have a list of grails, you know, that you want, with color, with maybe price point that you would like to spend, so that it's a bit easier for yourself. There was like 3 finds I would like to talk about. The first one is this beautiful Stone Island cream sweater. This is a vintage piece from 1995. I was able to buy it at twice vintage for €60. It needs to be repaired a little bit. As you can see, it's missing one button and it's also missing the badge, but I'm sure I can bring it to my tailor, get it refitted, and €60 is a very honest price. This is what I got. Another 2 pieces that were interesting. One is this astonishing CP Company nylon leather coat. This is also present in the 50th anniversary book, 50, and it's this beautiful hybrid piece from the late 1990s. I loved it, but it wasn't my fit. The owner was asking for €180, so I'm a bit on the fence about it, I have to be honest with you. But yeah, that was a cool piece that I really considered buying. Also, my girlfriend, she found a Balenciaga city bag in grey with silver hardware for €350. I would say that's a great price, especially for the medium size. But the hardware was in top condition, so we haven't bought it yet. Next time I'm gonna go out there, I'm just gonna have a bit more of a list in my head of colors and things I like, so it's gonna be easier for me to discern and say, okay, I like this, I don't like that. So I would recommend you do the same. I would like to close with a couple of stories and a couple of lessons. So first story was that in 2021, I went visit the Avenue 31 vintage store, and I found a beautiful Stone Island Marina sailing backpack in red, made with this kind of glaze silk material. I've never seen it before. There is no pictures online. Incredible piece, really speaking to the Massimo Osti sailing heritage. The owner wanted $350. I didn't have the money, I didn't have the focus back then. So I went back actually last week, and of course the bag was sold. Life lesson is, if you really like something, take your time, take a couple of weeks, not more, take a few months. But if you wait 2 years, you're gonna lose it. So be focused on your vintage finds, and you know, if you really like something, go for it. Little regret. And the second thing is that I went to the Borghetto Flaminio market. Everything was very curated. I met a fantastic guy that had this beautiful stand. He had Jill's under, he had Nike SCGs, he had Stone Island, he had CP Company, and he proposed to me these very cool Stone Island wax cotton jackets. Beautiful cream color, but I am under the impression, again, this is my opinion, that the jacket was fake. This is just a reminder of how you always have to be careful and you have to be aware, and even if the setting is good, the person is good, maybe even themselves, they don't know that what you're proposing to you might as well be fake. Always be aware of fakes, always know your goods, it's really easy to be tricked, and yeah, and get what you like. Those are my life lesson, kids. Remember it for your successful vintage future, yeah? It was fantastic just discussing a couple of topics with you guys. All the venues, the markets, and the vintage stores that I mentioned are gonna be listed down below in the description. Follow me on Vinted, follow me on Instagram. It was beautiful to have you through this vintage journey. I'm also gonna take you along with me next time. I'm gonna go vintage shopping in a different European city, so we can then compare the different vintage atmosphere and experiences in different cities. If you have any questions on the garments, if you have any question on vintage stores or recommendation, leave it down below. It was a pleasure. And yeah, so see you in the next video. Love you, bye.